8:30, let's get stuck in. Lots to do. Welcome back. New glasses. Sexy new glasses, baby. Oh, lovely. Nice. New safety glasses, regularly. Old ones all scratched, can't see what you're doing. Them spares for emergencies. Right, okay, today's fun and games involves these little tubes. You know, I said I was going to French tubes over these bolts in order to be able to get to the mounting bolts when the skin is on there. So in order to do that, I'll show you a bit closer what I mean. I'll show you what I've got. Let's bring it in. Right, it kind of involves this. Like I said, I've told you this before. On just a piece of tubing, on the mounting over the bolt itself, just cut a little piece off, weld it in there, and then I can build the skin around that. It's quite straightforward. So I've just got to cut 12 lengths of that, probably about, I'd say 3/4 of an inch long, so that they're definitely going to be proud of the skin when I put the skin on, and then I can lap them back to the level of the skin. So hence a French tube. Now I don't know about you, but I've got an inch tube and I've got 3/4 inch tube, but it's thin. You can see that. That is really thin. Now it's not going to hold any weight at all, and that's going to lap back real easy. But this is stainless, and it's, well, just thicker. A lot thicker wall. That's the sort of thing you might make a frame from. Thick stainless tube. And again, I said this before, stainless welds to mild steel just fine, but obviously it won't all be waterproof or rust proof. So I think I'm going to go with the thinner tube because it's mild steel, which is the same as that, and it only really needs to be 3/4 inch because the cap head screws that are going to be down inside it, I don't want big inch French holes all the way along the side. There's going to be 12 of them because I think that looks cool, and I think if they're 3/4 inch they'll be smaller and neater, and if I really want to I can get little plastic caps to just pop in the end, which could do. A bit tarty really, but if I need to I can. Right, so first thing, get the paint off this because you can't weld through the paint. Well, you can, it ain't clever. Once the paint's off it, I'll cut some lengths and let's see how many we need. I've done so far today is prep that ready for the welding. I've got the little tubes done now. These Euro things. That's actually steel conduit, electrical conduit, the steel kind for outdoor. So it's really, really robust, but it's still thin enough not to represent any weight, because I really value that 4 kilos that thing weighs. I want to go add into it with loads of clag iron. So they're all ready. They took ages and ages, over an hour to prep. And all the little bits of snot that get around the weld, you know, the splatter, I had to grind that out of the way so that they sit flush, otherwise they wouldn't sit level. So that's another bit. And then obviously a couple of the holes where I took it off and welded it, a couple of the holes were just a bit stiff, the bolts wouldn't do up, you could tell they were just marginally out of line, so run a drill bit through them, just cleared them through, ovaled them slightly inside, and then that gives a little bit of movement on the tail so that it actually fits. I can just drop it on and it fits. It's still a bit of a clang and bang to get it on, but honestly it's not meant to be detached from the bike. I'll put a pigtail underneath here. It's a bit like your Harley. You Harley owners know this point. The seat really isn't meant to come off. You take it off maybe once a year, you know, for servicing or whatever. So that's the whole point. I want everything accessible from underneath. I'll be able to get to anything I need, like the fuses and stuff, through the seat hole. So it's not an issue. I've got to do the seat in a little while, so I'll come to that later. But anyway, there we are. Now I'm pretty much ready. Yeah, pretty much ready. Let's tack these little tubes on and see if they look any good. My new shades, baby. Dun dun dun, Uvex. Protect your orbits.
So tell me what you see. I'll give you what you need. My time.
I'll show you the first one. There we go. That's the idea. Just needs 3 tacks on it. This is super thin and this is 1/4 inch thick that I'm welding it to. So the trick is to dwell on, so point the welder at the thick quarter plate and dwell on it for a second, and then just go and touch into the thin stuff while it's actually arcing. So strike up the arc, hit the trigger, strike the arc in against the quarter plate, 1000, 2000, and then just dip across onto the thin stuff. If you dwell on the thin stuff, you'll blow through it. If you don't tack enough, then you won't penetrate into the quarter plate. So that's a little trick on how to weld really, really thin stuff to thicker stuff. Dwell on the thicker stuff that can take the ampage, and then just for a second, dip onto the thin stuff, and it will penetrate really quickly, and then back onto the thick stuff, then drop the arc, and hold the gas for just a second so that it holds it. And that's really nice. Just needs 3 tacks, there's no weight in it, and I'll be able to get down there with an Allen key and take that out when I need to. And obviously I'll lap that back however high the skin is going to come. This will protrude out of it. This is 3/4 of an inch long, so that will just give me plenty of spare. So when the skin's all in place, I just get the old flat disc on that and grind it down. It may only end up 6 mil deep, but it'll be as deep as the cap, and that will look quite nice with the cap sitting in a recess. So that's the principle of what I was doing. I've got 11 more to do, so let's get her done.
As we reach, oh, reach for the sky. Seem to block our way. As we try to
It's now 11:45 now, been on for 4 hours. Got them all done, and I've drilled the holes out to 7mm. There's 6mm bolts going in, and logic says use 6mm holes, but it needs room to move around, it needs room to line up. Even though this thing is as rigid as it isn't rigid enough so that it doesn't move side to side when you're putting it on. So 7mm holes means I can just line it up. And also, if I want to, I can put bolts with a socket down inside those tubes because they're big enough, they fit down in, which was the reason for taking the time to line up the tubes like that in the centre of the hole, meaning that I can just do them up like that, so I don't have to have socket caps if I don't want to. I can have regular bolts, which I quite like really. Doesn't matter. Now there you go. 4" hole is perfect. I suppose I could have gone for a smaller tube, but quite like those. They look alright. In proportion to the scale of the thing, they're fine. So the next thing to do is make the seat base. I've actually got to make a seat base that bolts onto this so it can be removed and sent to the upholsterer, because I'm not sitting directly on this. I could mould, like I did on the Bandit, I could mould some seat foam onto this. That would be cool, but I don't want to do that. I want to go a little bit better on this bike. I want a floating seat. It will come more apparent as I get to it, but the seat's going to sit 1/2 inch above the tailpiece. So when this is skinned, there'll be a gap of about 1/2 inch, and then a seat base sitting on that very thin seat, and that will look, I think, quite trick, quite different. Haven't seen it very often before. I've seen it where the German street fighters do it, just with a polished alloy plate bolted on top floating. That's quite nice, but I'm not quite up to sitting on a bare metal plate. I do need just a little bit of padding, even if it's only 10mm. I need something. I don't need a kid anymore. Right, so I'm going to get this fully bolted on and then get some cardboard and start thinking about cutting a seat base. Time for a brew. Let's hear it for tonics. Nothing better in life than a tonics tea cake. Right, let's see what it's like to sit on at this stage. That is so comfortable. Feels so big as well, because the bars are quite a reach. Really don't want any more height in the seat than that. The skin's going to thicken it up. Bit of cardboard. I'll show you how we start. Just the first step. Right, so anything that you're going to cut out, I think we established this recently in the little bracket video. Anything you're going to cut out of sheet metal, rather than wasting the sheet metal and getting it wrong, just use cardboard and some scissors, because you can just mess about and snip and clip, and if it's not right, you can start again and you haven't wasted anything. You can buy cardboard, you know, stationery store, nothing expensive, or cereal boxes, whatever works for you. But this is a larger piece of steel. I've got the steel itself ready. That's going to form the seat. It's going to be quite a small seat, you know, like a little seat pad, sort of thing the choppers have, just mounted on springs, but it's going to be floating about 10mm above the seat skin itself, and then bolted through, nuts from underneath. So it's not going to be any bigger than that. I'm just going to shape it. I've got some very cool planishing hammers and dollies. I'm going to try and shape it if I can. I don't have an English wheel, so I can't make it totally smooth, but that just means I've got to try harder with the dollies and get it absolutely right. Old school, baby. English wheels cheating. Where's my pencil?
You see,
Okay, just to start on the seat base. Now the shape isn't final, it's just where your ass touches, as simple as that to start with, and then you shape it how you want it to look after. That cuts around the tank nicely, and that's the maximum width of the metal anyway, but I don't want any wider than that. I want about an inch of the skin of the base showing either side of it, so it looks like it's floating, not just standing above it, as it were. Does that make sense? No. You know what I mean. Now this is 1.6 gauge metal, so 16 gauge, and it's a bit soft, so I'm going to use probably some of that wire around the edge to strengthen it. Not sure. It's got to go up to an upholsterer to be properly upholstered with leather, and I've got to shape this now. This is real blacksmithing, just tin bashing that into a shape, but I just don't want to beat big lumps into it so that it looks horrible. I want to try and do it by bending rather than by hitting. So I'm not going to anneal it because then I can't retemper it because it's too big. I've only got a blow lamp, so it will be a concentrated flame, not big enough to get the whole thing red and then make it soft. Anyway, that's enough waffle. Let's try and make a bit of a shape out of it. Wish me luck. Time's beating me on this one, I'm afraid. Is it 3 o'clock now? Just gone 3 o'clock, and I am done. That's what, 8:30, 6.5 hours today. Got the tubes welded in and made a start on the seat base. Let's just show you this for now. Don't judge it yet, it's halfway done. Now this, when it's done, has got to be ready or of a quality that it's fit to be handed to a talented upholsterer to upholster it as a seat base. Let's show it on the bike. Probably just better if you do that. Hang on. Okay, so there it is. The start of a seat base, probably about halfway through. I haven't done much to it yet. It's got to have ellipse and curves all over it to give it strength, because it's made of sheet metal. If it's just a flat piece of sheet metal, it will just fold and bend whenever you put pressure on it. But if you put lips all the way around the edge of it and curves in opposite directions and different curvatures, it makes it strong. It gives it rigidity. I mean, that's already twice as strong as the piece of flat metal. So you can see what I've done here. This is the kind of thing you do to your chopper. If you're building a hardtail or something, you put a hinge at the front, cut the springs at the back, and there's your seat base. You bounce up and down on that. But I want to do something similar. I kind of mix up the styles a little bit. I'm not going to put springs on it, duh. I think I'll put floating mounts is what this is going to have. Underneath it will get 4 or maybe 5 bolts welded, probably 2-inch underneath, and then a spacer tube on there, so that you've got or a 1-inch or whatever you decide. So an inch spacer, 2-inch bolts, 1-inch spacer, given an inch of thread sticking out of each one, and then it will go down onto there. Then I'll get some of this quarter plate or quarter strap and just weld some receiving brackets through which those bolts can drop through and then be nutted from the other side. You know, what is it? Ever so simple. But I want to get this right. I'm tired now. I've been at this 6.5 hours, and I feel myself starting to cut corners and say, oh, that'll be right. Well, it's not, and it won't, and that's when I choose to stop. Because you're not creative anymore, you're not thinking straight, you're not doing your best work. This section at the back, this lip, needs a little curvature that way so that it has a roundedness to it that then mirrors this, so that the two match each other. At the moment it's dead straight. Obviously you saw that I took the time on the belt sander to make a form. I'll show you. That's a dead useful tool. Just put a big curvature in it, and then you can use that as a form. If you try and bend a piece of metal, you can do it over a piece of tubing. Actually, I could have done that over a piece of tubing. Here we are. But that's quite handy because it's soft, and you can just bend the metal around it and sort of twist the metal and tap it. See these guys who've got the posh power hammers that just do the work for you, and you just move the metal around? Well, I haven't got one of those. But I have got these, I'll show you. A set of hammers and dollies. Now, you may not be able to afford, you probably can't afford a power hammer, because I certainly can't. But something like that isn't mega expensive. Oh, they're not pennies, but you know, you can afford them if you want to do this kind of work, and they're a darn sight cheaper than buying a power hammer or buying some piece of tat off the market, you know, off the net. You get different hammers for pinging and shaping. You get the dollies, which are really useful. You see me use them. I don't really need to over explain that. You know, they've got shapes and curves over which you can hold the metal and just tap it to get those curves you want. And what it gives you at the end is a finished job. It doesn't look like it's full of hammer dents. I mean, there aren't too many hammer dents in that. I am not unhappy with that so far. It's got a long way to go. It needs a little bit more curvature in the middle, like I said, and this curve at the back needs to get involved. But there's curve that way, and so it's a kind of dual axis curve, and it's quite difficult to do. You've got to stretch the metal one way and shrink it the other without loads of hammer dents. If you have an English wheel, you can just beat it into shape on a sandbag and then just roll it, and it rolls all the ripples out. But I want to try and do it old school, just literally with hammers and dollies, just make that. I'm quite tough with that, like it. Happy, seat base. See all the tubes go in there. They're just, come on baby, let's go. That's it. The tubes are now ready for the bolts, so I can bolt that thing on now, and once the seat base is done and I've welded the little tags in that hold the seat onto the skinned tailpiece, then I I can take that off and send it out for upholstery. It's as simple as that. Just paint it so it doesn't rust, send it to the upholsterer. That's a nice surprise got coming through. I'm not going to do too much about that. That's going to be something very, very special. So I'll keep that for another time. So that's it for now. 6.5 hours, but I want to show you something else. In the last video we did on the Wemoto stuff, we bought all the parts to finish this build. Everything that I need, I think, to get this on the road and done, except tyres, and that they'll just get done with the guy that does the tyres at the end. And I thought, as I said to you last time, I got half a box. We had some of the stuff come. We also had the discs, shock absorbers got come, the rear shock. So I'm going to show you that now, because those are the things and the videos that are still to come. This build has become boring for some of you. Fabrication. It's a bit boring, same old thing, bending bits of metal, but there is lots of stuff to come. Wheel bearings, swing arm bushes, seals, brake pipes, discs. Let me show you rather than talk about it. Let's put all this away and I'll show you what I've got. I'm going to just bung this on here because it's new parts. I don't want to get them all grungy. There's a lot of swarf on this bench, little sharp bits of grit. And just one more thing on this, I hope you've picked up on it. If you're going to cut a template and you want to make it symmetrical, fold it in half and cut it around that way. You know that, it's not hard, is it? Actually, it's the sort of thing you used to cover on Vision On. Vision On or Take Heart. Who used to, hands up who remembers Morph. That's the kind of thing when you were a kid watching programs about art and so on. That's when you can pick up stuff like that you can do yourself. So I drew the template out roughly, and once I was happy with it, fold it in half and then cut round it, and you get an absolutely 100% symmetrical template, which means you get symmetrical seat base. Right, anyway, shut up. Let's get this box. Right, like the last box, loads of stuff. Brake pads, you know about that. Cush drives. Cush drives, you know what cush drives are? It's them things that go in the back wheel. When you take your back wheel sprocket carrier out, there's them big blocks of rubber that live inside there. Kawasaki's are synonymous for squashing and knackering up, so I've got a new set of cush drives. You know, what this is about really is going to be a 500-hour build, this. There's no way I'm putting it together with knackered out consumables. There's no need, it's just a crap way to do it. Wheel bearings, you can see that, but this one's the interesting one. This is going to be, can you see that there? That's needle roller bearings for the swinging arm itself. 1, 2, and then, so what I've got is when the swing arm comes out to be powder coated, I'll put it back in with all new needle roller bearings because it's going to have to be sandblasted, and sandblasting knackers up bearings. You'll always get a bit of grit in the bearing, and that's all bad because it will trash the bearing, so you might as well knock them out, take it to the guys to be powder coated, and when you get it back, clean the hole and put a new bearing in it. That's the correct way to do it, and you know it is. You just know it is. The other thing is these, some short links. I'm going to jack it up an inch. This is what I think is the right thing to do. Lucas short links, purely because the stance that it's got right now on the bench, the back wheel on the paddock stand is 1.5 inches off the ground, and I absolutely love the riding position. I wouldn't want the back to drop when it comes off the ramp and then be a different ride height, so I'm going to jack the back up so when it's on the road that gives me a little more, it's a bit more of an aggressive stance. What else do we get? The wheel. Right, obviously when the time comes to do this, oil and filter, you know the stuff, got the filter already, so 20, no it's not, it should be 1040, yeah, 1040 fully synthetic rock oil, 1040 because all sports bikes are 1040, and fully synthetic because, well, you just do, don't you? You just do. Right, so that's that little box, which is, this is all from Wemoto. Remember the other day, said that we got hold of them and got everything that we needed for one job. I'll show you what I've got in the other box. This is the fun bit. Let's put them in there. Don't you just love boxes like this that have got lots of yummy things in? Try not to think what they cost. Right. I guess really the reason that I'm showing you this is because, well, you just need to know that there's more to this project ahead than just fabrication. clear that up later. So first of all, I've got a rear brake line. The front has got HEL braided hoses, and so the rear's going to have that too, because at the moment it's the skanky old rubber hose, and well, that just won't do, will it? So I'm going to put a new disc on the back and a new brake hose and sintered pads in the cylinder. The actual wheel brake caliper is being rebuilt. It's quite nice. When I bought this bike, an awful lot had been done to it to kind of make it nice, you know, and I'm sort of inheriting quite a lot of the work I would have had to do. All the brake calipers have been done. So there we are, HEL braided hose for the rear, which is nice. That'll make sure the stops. We'll make sure the back stops anyway. Come to this in a minute. First of all, disc. I mean, this is just delicious. It's not often in your life you treat yourself to this sort of thing. And I could not have afforded it all by any means if I hadn't gone to Wemoto for it, because prices they charge for this kind of thing are just realistic. Rear disc, brand new rear disc. So again, that'll be a fitting video because bubble wrap. Who doesn't love it? So you know, if you're going to put new discs, new brakes, new everything, I might as well share that with you because it just is cool. Just look at that, babies. Look at that. How gorgeous is that? Brand new EBC discs. Now, yeah, silly money, honestly. £150 each. So, as I said to you in the last video, we've spent close on, well, just over £1,000 on this bike, which is going to be, I think, worth it really. When you put 500 hours into a build, you know, what's wrong with putting new discs on it? I mean, they are worn, they're kind of grooved and scored, so whatever. There we are. Isn't that a delicious thing? It's like a piece of jewellery. Yummy. Might just put that in the lounge. Just put it on the wall, couldn't you, like a little picture? Right, here we go. So there we are. Thanks again to the guys that did me a price at Wemoto. I've got everything now that I need. So 2 front discs, rear disc, all the brakes refurbed. There's the other one. It's the same one, yeah. So now I'm done. I've got all the bits and pieces that are in place, ready for this rebuild. And once the fabrication is sorted, that's the tailpiece, the little under tray with the French light and some bits and pieces on the front, then I can start all this. And obviously new discs all round, new brakes all round, all that stuff, taking the swing arm out, everything else wouldn't do. It just wouldn't do. Putting back that skanky old shock that's in there. Now, one of you guys said to me, you can send the shock away, you can have it rebuilt, you can have the spring powder coated. Yes, you can. I know you can, and I did price it up. And honestly, do you know what? It's about half the price of buying one of these. This is a Nitron, Nitron Sports Shock. Now, what I'll do when I come to fit these, I'll do you a link in the information in the video to where you can have a look at it. I'm just really close up on this. This is just gorgeous. That's going to be the rear shock we use. And that's just absolutely lovely. The colour, to be honest, all Nitron shocks come that colour, and I think it's a bit like having Olin shocks or whatever else. It's a trademark colour branding thing, so I absolutely love that. I think what we may do is when I get together with the paint guy to devise the artwork, we may be able to tie that in somehow. We've got gold centres on the discs. I am doing away with all the gold bolts because they're just tat. Because they are tat as well, they're just rubbish. But there we are, that's it. I think I've talked enough. That's the rear shock. Nitron Sports Shock. Again, I'll give you full details to it and a full video on it, and the discs and the swing arm bushes and everything. So there's kind of a combination of fitting yummy parts and also doing the standard sort of fabrication, let me rephrase it, doing all the refurbishment work that you would do if you're doing a project. You know, you don't get your wheels powder coated and not replace the wheel bearings. I've done a wheel bearing video, but honestly, you can never do it too many times. It's a really easy job, it really is. And to do it right isn't that hard, but if you don't know, then you can do a hatchet job and damage your bike or hurt yourself. So everything on this is going to be done. As many things that I can think to do, I will do on this, and I'll make a video of it as we go along. I think that's it. So what I'm going to do now is put the details on the board of today, put all this safely. I think I might take this home actually, rather than leave it here in the garage, because I can look at it then. There we are, again, finally, thanks to Wemoto for their help with this. I couldn't have afforded that, and I couldn't have afforded the discs if I hadn't got the whole lot of surprises. Went to them, look, it's a big old job lot, can you do me a figure? Yeah, bang on. And you know what they're like, if you go on their website, wemoto.com, you can see that their prices are already good value by comparison. There are cheaper companies out there, but you can't deal with them. I've tried it in the past. You can't contact them. If you do, they're not there. They often send the wrong stuff. I've covered all that in videos. I won't mention the companies because it's not fair. So there we are. I'll leave it like that. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll leave you to all the friends. Fabrication so far, I reckon 4 or 5 more videos and I could start painting this and getting silver on it, and then I can move into the tail, into that French light. I'm going to get the light itself first as well, a little LED circular one. I think I've said enough. Alright, thanks for watching, take your ride safe. See you next time.